Derek's out today.
Okay.
If he's back in, I'll check.
Okay.
Don't yell at your customer.
Right, I mean, she was my customer, so I didn't want to tell her she brought like this.
Right.
And it was in front of me, I was like, oh, you know, I said, I really tried to get you to do like, get from the store and like, find on our, I said, but if anything is posted, it, me, like, I don't touch it, because I don't
Right.
want to, but if I did, it would only be, I'm sorry, but I just don't want, you learn that you don't want to teach people that they put something negative and they give them.
Or, I'm sorry, please call me directly
Yeah,
out.
yeah. If I
Which I
get
see
tagged-
Patty do that a lot.
Yeah, if I get tagged, then I'll usually, that's exactly what
And
I'll
you're
let
fine?
you.
How are you, sir?
You know,
How are you?
go to our Facebook page and message.
How are you, Dave?
Doing all right?
Need to,
And you don't want to like encourage,
talk
because
to
they
you
have
about
it, because
park
Conway
and
didn't
things
have
on down
this until more
over in the
recently.
bank.
But
Get
they
some
have
new
it.
equipment, new park
They
equipment.
had,
The one where the basketball goal is?
I think there's one basketball.
Yeah, okay.
And it's
And I
right
think
on
there's
Texas
like a little bitty parking lot right there.
Little parking lot,
These
park
people
area.
control themselves.
Like, see if you can get some stuff in there, if possible, put it on your drive.
crazy.
Yeah, and then I think people realize that
We
she
just got a
looked
brand
crazy,
new
but being
playground
combative.
for
And so
Central
then
Park
it was just
State.
like, I want
Or
even more
company
like, oh, look at this owner,
Well, company
everybody
that
check
put
her
in
out.
Splash Pads,
Don't go there or
They're
she'll treat
located
you like
in
this.
Northwest
And it was just piled on even more.
Yeah, and
which
you're
was
like,
fine
and then I'm like,
for splash pads. But it makes it slow with playgrounds. But now they got somebody in the Central Park State.
so at my age,
So
like,
I'm gonna get him to give me
I
a
learned
price
that
and a
you don't
design.
say anything out
If you see it. No, I would never say it.
That's really
About
good.
that.
We had talked about it,
Very
it's time to do something for those folks.
Sound good to me?
treat people how
You know, man,
Never hurts.
you know, man, appreciate it.
More fun for kids, the better.
That's it, that's it.
Miss Taylor.
Yeah.
She ran
I think she's around today. How are you?
She's really not having fun.
Oh, it's got.
Well, I think that, I know last time that they put. Andy, I took your seat, I didn't realize you actually had a name.
Oh, no, I'm gonna sit out here.
The heck you are, you gotta be up here, y'all off the whisper to me when I'm supposed to say. That's why I'm sitting by Jeremy today.
I've seen him do it. You watch, I'll do it. I like to sit in this Isby seat.
Can you live without Jill? Can you live without Jill?
Can you what?
Yes, we can.
What?
We don't, do we have the minutes for last?
Nope, she has those.
We can do a roll call.
Yes.
And somebody had a report on that.
She's also supposed to take the minutes.
Okay. Yeah, she was trying to get me.
Always something.
Here's a good roll. All right, I can do that. Welcome.
There she comes.
Do we have enough for?
Miss America.
I told everybody to wait. I just want to get started.
I'll hand you this as your.
Did you make it in the survival? I won't,
Sit right here, don't let anybody run off.
Mr. Hawkins, how are you, sir?
Hey, brother, what's
Oh,
going
I
on?
can't complain too much.
You holding down the
Holding.
for us today?
Yeah, well, you know, Charles tells me he'll be here, but you know how that goes. Thank you.
Good. What's up? Just trying to keep DCA going. Keep doing some- Yeah,
Little
he's
bit of
doing
synergy,
great.
yeah.
Good to have you with us. Thank you.
well, and it's.
went to the restroom.
Talking about you.
I'll sit down, so we can have. I know.
Time you need a present.
Uh-huh.
You with me? Get you some of those.
Where you going?
They're called cool coats.
Oh, yeah.
And these are wrapped.
They go to the movies too.
Wilson's got a big closet. I wouldn't want to wear them in 30-degree weather all the time.
Yeah.
But when it gets a little.
Get all the gas.
I don't want
You
to
gotta sign up?
get you some.
I'm going. That way you can be covered.
No, I'm over here today so I can make sure I know what to do.
I think you're supposed to be sitting right here.
I don't think
You
that.
need to sit right here.
I think I'm good.
Sit right here.
I'm not gonna sit in, I'm gonna sit right here. Is there room?
Hello.
There's no rule, you're supposed to be in this seat right here.
Hey, we look good over there.
If it's a rule.
I'm gonna dig my heels. Okay.
You can have it from out here.
I might need to
I've had
ask
to
a
repeat
question.
the minutes, I'd like to make a motion to pass the minutes.
Alright, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, say aye. Alright, minutes approved for December. Would you like to go ahead and start on the funding reports?
Yes, we have one.
Hi. Come on up here.
You'll have to stand at the microphone.
Okay, I'll do that.
Got a whole new setup.
Couple of quick visuals.
Oh, that's awesome. Art.
Thanks for letting me be part of your meeting. I appreciate it. My name is Brian Young. I'm the director of the Baum Gallery at UCA. And up until recently, we were the only really contemporary art museum, and then we got our buddies over at Hendricks to do the Wingate Museum of Art. So typically, I come to this group and ask for a grant. In this case, I asked for a grant for a photographer, pretty well known. We had to postpone that for a year, so instead, I did an exhibition called the Baum Gallery at 25. The Baum Gallery was founded in 1996 in McCaslin Hall on campus. And I invited 25 alumni back. And so we had usual suspects of painting, printmaking, drawing, graphic design, sculpture, you get the idea, animation. The idea was to kind of do it a smaller budget because our budget got cut during the COVID. But the idea was we knew it would be popular. Because what I did was I purposely invited back 25 professional working artists, either as academics, so I wanted to be inspiring to our students and inspiring to Hendricks. Attendance for the first night was over 115, and attendance was still down overall, about 700 to 800, I think, for the 6-week run of the show. But we had somebody come from Jacksonville, Florida, somebody from Dallas, Bentonville, Arkansas. In fact, the muralist who did the piece right by the gazebo, Morton Brown, he came in from Pittsburgh with his family. Another former student came in from Lubbock, Texas. So that was really great. We kind of built that kind of momentum during a tough time for everybody. So I made a habit of, I put your logo on the back of our invitations. And even though technically you didn't sponsor the next show, I went ahead and put it on there too. A former colleague of mine said, give freely of that which costs nothing. And then we also tried to do posters and put them around campus. And this is another exhibition. I did a BA, BFA show, and we put your logo here and put these around. Mostly UCA, sometimes Hendricks, sometimes some public groups, and so on. And I also wanted to kind of proudly report to this group that regardless of how you feel about restrictions during COVID, we did stay open for the whole run of the exhibition, and we've only been closed for really just a few weeks. And our next exhibition, called Painting, opens up on the 27th. And I am fully prepared that that will also open and stay open. So we do like to socially distance, but we're free and we're open to the public. We have free accessible parking typically, not always. And so we like to think that we provide one of the cultural backbones for Conway, specifically in the visual arts. And even with the addition of Hendricks Wingate Museum, you know, there aren't that many open venues for contemporary art in traditional media. In fact, at one point, the Wingate Museum was closed while we remained open. So I think that was mostly my presentation, but I want to see if anybody had any questions or comments or anything you wanted to know.
I think we're good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being here.
All right, Jill, review of the financial information. Here we go.
All right. Open up your packets to the first paper clipped financials. You'll see the balance in the bank accounts on the first page. And if you go to the third page, the comparative 2-year income statement. Current month, $451,324.06. The revenues are in the black, $55,442.96. And the year overall, we're in the black, $667,102.65. Which we're in the black as last year. This time we were in the red at $273,177.19. The rest of these paperclip group are just what backs these financials, and you'll see on the Centennial reconciliation for account 7873, a lot of these checks were for UCA for the various events for 2021. And they didn't get mailed out till later in the month due to various degrees of differing. But anyway, we got.
A lot of this going to the UCA Foundation and then keep track of it on the back end by saying this is for this and this is for something else.
We can do that. I don't know how UCA prefers it. I'm not sure.
Okay. Would that be something we could do over on that side of the world?
I mean, I don't, since they all go to the foundation, and the foundation, I assume, divvies it up, I don't know why it would matter.
Okay.
It would, just as long as Jill's fine doing that,
Okay.
I don't know if they typically turn them all in at one time, maybe they do.
Yeah, I think he usually does. Matt does.
So, yeah, those are all for athletics that Matt reported on last meeting, so.
Okay. I just think writing one check for, what is that, $5,000 or $6,000, $7,000 would be
Yeah,
better
they're
than
right
writing
here.
10 checks for the same thing. Just a thought,
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference to me.
just a thought.
Yeah, I can ask Matt for
Thank-
2022.
Thank you.
And then if you go to the legal pieces of paper, go to page 3. Collections for December 2021 totaled $448,905.73, which is up over 2020 by 34.87%.
Yeah.
Yes, so $156,514.25 difference, and up over December 2019 by $79,013.98, which is a 17.6% increase from 19.
since we have restaurants represented here today heavily, if y'all had had people that would or could work, that number would have been a lot bigger, wouldn't it?
Yep,
Would have been for us, a couple 100,000.
Jeremy, same thing for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and we had our best year.
That's, we were then 2 or 3,000 last year.
And, we were closed on those Mondays.
Yeah,
We would have much
I'll be darned. Okay,
some employees.
wow. Thank you.
And then the fourth page is delinquent collections, which is 7.92% of collections. I did actually print off this month the ones that those made up, that number was made up of.
What'd you say, it's 7792? I see it. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. And a lot of these were from the delinquent list from last month, which is Afrobites, Blue Barn Bakery, Chivos Locos, Double D's, Ed's, and there's a whole plethora here, but El Acapulco. Went out and hand-delivered a citation to, not citation, but a notice of delinquency to everyone on the delinquent list last month. And that's what made a huge difference with these delinquent collections. And then the fifth page is collections excluding delinquents, which totaled $413,356.54, which is up over last year by $132,587.82. And that's a 32.08% increase. And then the last page is pay simple payments, which totaled $145,231.04, which is 32.35% of collections. And as compared to last year of $76,404.74, it's a $68,826.30 increase, and 47.39% up over December.
Do they give you a number how many upgrades every month, or how many permit holders apply or switch over to pay simple? You see the rate every month, or how many permit holders apply or switch over to pay simple? You see that 3, 4, 5 a month, probably, something like that.
Yeah, they don't notify me of it. It's just on our ginormous spreadsheet. You can see who changed from bank or mailing to,
New accounts created.
right. And some people go back and forth. I guess it just depends on how they want to pay or their time frame or whatever it is. Does anybody have any
I'll make a
questions?
motion to approve the financials as submitted.
Second.
Have a second?
Mike, second.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Third.
Got a motion.
Because you're way over there.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Has been approved, sorry, guys. Move on to we need to go to the delinquents. All right. So what do you want to tell us about this piece of paper?
Well, this piece of paper. I don't know what happened to some of those lines up top, but anyway, yeah, this delinquent list is pretty much,
A lot of food trucks.
a lot of food trucks.
Is this because we haven't found them? Like
Still.
as we, you know what I mean? Some of these are so.
Some of
far.
them they were not able to locate.
Okay, do you know which ones those were?
Not off the top of my head.
Kill it.
You remember, Denise? Which ones that code enforcement wasn't able to find of the food trucks? Minuteman, they did end up mailing a notice to them because they couldn't find them here.
What's going on with Game Town Crab? Is that the place on Oak Street?
No, that was a food truck that was here. I'm not sure if they're still here anymore. I think they are, but I don't know. And then there's a lot of these that, well, got caught up, and then now they're on the 30-day list all over again, but
Does TC's know about these two that are kind of, it's kind of weird, you know what I mean?
yes, and he did pay. Y'all can mark him off, sorry.
Let's keep going.
Both of those months he paid?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
And then the same kind of with mine. It's just a one random.
Mommy,
Different amount for your mommy.
I know.
Mm-mm.
They wonder if they shorted their return. A certain amount.
That's what happened.
It's not.
Right.
I
Looks
don't.
like the Hatchet House is closed down.
Yes, Hatchet House is closed down.
Have you been in contact with them?
Hatchet House?
Yeah.
With their accountant,
Okay.
which they were supposed to remedy this. This was a bounce check. Or bounce payment.
Were we collecting money for axe throwing in that place?
How long have they been shut?
We weren't,
Only like 2 weeks.
yeah.
And it was quick, it seems like.
Is there somebody else going in that building, or is that the corner?
Yeah, it's in the corner. I bet they don't have any, I mean, I think it was pretty quick, but they. I guess, does anybody have any questions about any of the other ones?
So we've got 7 that we don't know anything about, it looks like, undetermined.
Yeah.
Sweet tea, yeah, I don't think that did they find sweet tea, do you remember?
Denise, this might be for you. All of these folks have applied, they came in, applied for the permit, filled out the paperwork, so they know about us, they know we're real. And then they just never pay.
Except for Layla's. Is Layla's on here?
Lola's Food?
No, and they need to be on here.
Layla's. No, we don't have Layla's.
Layla's, we can't get them to even apply for an AP. We've sent 2 notices and I think maybe even a citation by now.
Isn't that the one that moved in where Sam's was? Yeah, we've still got Sam's on the list, but not.
So they don't have an A and P, permit right now, so we would need to skip all the way to the closing down until they, have we discussed them
All
before?
we can do is revoke the permit.
Revoke the permit?
Vote to revoke.
They don't have a permit
They
to
don't have
revoke.
a permit, so they're actually not allowed to do open,
It's not on us to talk about, that's on code enforcement.
Gotcha, so it stays in their court, and we don't have to do anything with it, because they don't have a permit, so they're never a part of the commission.
Yes.
I got it, that makes sense. All right, we don't have to deal with that. Let's see. All righty, so I guess, are y'all good for me to do I'll see if I can say it right, on the 30, 60, 90? Andy, you got anything?
No, I'm good.
Mike, you good?
I'm good with the
All right, can I get a motion to approve the 30 days proposed assessment notice and intent to revoke?
So,
Okay, 60 and 90, by the way, on that as well. Get a second?
And second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And I will send y'all an updated spreadsheet after the meeting, because I know some of these that have paid since January are not knocked off here yet, so.
Good.
Or a few that have remedied themselves.
Sounds good. All right. Rachel, you ready?
Okay, well, I sent you all a long list of activities from the past month, so I'll just highlight a couple, and if you have questions, just let me know. So I solicited bids from all the hotels for hosting the Missionary Baptist Association Conference in April. I've gotten responses from most of the hotels, but I'm still waiting to hear from a couple, so I'll send those to the association this week, so that they can make their decisions about host hotels. They will end up using probably 3 or 4 properties because they'll have so many people here. I did letters and sent out to all of the funding applicants, and notified them of their funding that they received or didn't receive for 2022 as we voted on last month. Let's see, I mentioned that I had registered for Governor's Conference. That is next month in Fayetteville. So I'll have lots to report after that, I'm sure. Next week, I have an AACBB meeting in Little Rock, and we've had some emails going around discussing collecting taxes from Airbnbs and VRBOs. And so at that meeting, I'll get some more information on how other CVBs are doing that and the agreements that they have. And what I'm figuring out is most of them have agreements directly with the company that collects the money from them. So directly with Airbnb, directly with VRBO, whatever.
I'm gonna jump in. Ran into the the mayor, and he told me that the city council did approve for us to collect from Airbnbs and all that. So I guess we just have, like you're saying, we just have to figure out how to do it, so.
Yep. And then also I created a calendar of events for 2022. I got information from Jared with the Parks Department on the events that they have scheduled at the Expo Center or at any of the parks that are outside of what you all funded. So I'll add those to the calendar that I sent you all the other day and then share that with all of the hotels. They always look forward to getting that so that they can plan for the year. And then ran an ad in the meeting planner guide as we do every year. Here's a copy of that ad. And then they also do a listing of event center floor plans. And so the Expo Center is listed along with their floor plan from information that I provided. So any questions about anything or details on anything?
On
Okay.
the hotel one that you sent out with all their info and their total income, did it match pretty well with what we're collecting?
I'm sorry, the what?
The one you sent us with all the hotel information?
Oh,
did it end up matching kind of with what we collected throughout the year?
the STAR report.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go through and compare them typically, but yes. I mean, what we get is information on how many rooms they booked and whatnot, so, or how many rooms they had booked total.
Gotcha. I thought, when I was looking through, I thought it showed like total income. Of course, they're missing a couple hotels, but you would think with the ones that reporting, we definitely could
Yeah, they're
look
missing
and
a
make sure
couple
that we're collecting at
motels.
least,
Where we've seen is the lines move like this together, but now I haven't looked at it closely enough to say if there's I don't know if we can put a dollar amount room by room, because I don't know what number they really submit to STAR, if it's their net or their online booked or whatever.
Gotcha.
Month by month, it's accurate on how many people are here.
Gotcha.
We can see how deep those numbers will go if we want to look at them.
Yeah, because I mean, I was like, well, if we had it, it'd be a quick way for the year to go, we're off by,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a big number, then it'd probably be something to do with.
Sure.
I think that's all I've got. Anybody else?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen.
Excuse me. This past weekend, we had an event at the Expo along with volleyball tournaments are starting back up. The weekend of the 22nd, we have volleyball scheduled for the Sports Center and the McGee Center. And wrestling is scheduled that weekend at the Expo. I've got to get bigger fonts.
Like WWE wrestling? Like what kind of wrestling we got going?
Now, this is just, this will be CBC, I believe.
Wrestling that you funded.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha, all right.
The 29th, the weekend of the 29th, there's a gun show at the Expo. And then February the 5th, we have volleyball again at the Sports Center and McGee Center and another wrestling match.
Nice.
I believe you funded both of the wrestling events.
Oh, cool. I think I remember.
Thanks, Esther.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, new business. I think on the 2022 budget discussion, we may need to table that. I guess let's go ahead and cover the Greenbrier Public Schools. Let's knock that out real quick.
So I received this application from Greenbrier Public Schools. They want to host the 5A state volleyball tournament in October of this year. In the past, the commission has given them some funding for hosting state tournament type events because, as you know, Greenbrier doesn't have any hotels and they all stay in Conway. So they are asking for $2,000 from event incentive. They anticipate 320 athletes and 1,000 spectators on the peak day. That's not a total number. So they'll probably have upwards of 2,000 spectators total. And that's over 3 days and nights of competition. And he attached the last year's bracket, which I believe I gave you all their application to review. So as you can see, they play 3 days. And then the championships are held in Hot Springs. So.
And you recommend, I think we're good with the funding. Is everybody good? Because you recommended to do.
The
was it
full 2,000
full
that they were
2,000?
asking for based on their hotel projections.
I'm good with that. Are you guys?
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds good.
I will let them know.
All right, back to this budget. So I talked to Jill for just a second, and we don't have that put together yet. We're still kind of pulling in some numbers. Travis,
I did include it in here.
where is it? Do we have a little something?
Back of your packet.
That one, okay. Is this from 2020? Looky here, that's what, yeah, you did that fast. We talked like
Less than
30 minutes before this meeting. Okay, so talk to us, Jill, what do we got here?
a projection based off of 2021, which I know, I mean, all this is gonna change, so it doesn't, and most of this will change,
Okay,
so.
so it's got.
I didn't update the chamber's contract or,
Okay. So there'll be
Budget
some,
off the 21 numbers or 20, or
I don't know, that's
19 numbers.
the hard part too.
I think 19 would be more accurate.
I did too.
what do you think, Rachel? On that, we're talking about if we should probably base our budget off of 19 instead of 2021. I feel like,
Wouldn't that make more sense to do?
because
Would
we,
to me,
I mean, 21's a.
and we probably funded more this year for sure than last year. Would you
Yes.
say? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, probably pull from 2019 and then we'll get the chambers added in. And then what I was getting to is the email from Travis. I think, did everybody see that? And then we kind of had a chain going. He wanted me to kind of touch on that.
let's, can we go back to Jill's part of this presentation?
Yeah.
And let's talk about the revenue generated last year. Can we do that?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yep.
I mean, I think that's where we need to start.
Second page,
Well, the revenue,
third page.
I said 19, I guess the revenue could be based off of 21.
It'd be more comfortable with us.
Yeah, because the revenue is better in 20.
I don't see it going backwards at this point.
I hope not.
So
It'd
y'all
be
are,
nice if it stayed where it's at.
y'all are okay with using 21 numbers?
Of the
as far as
revenue.
revenue?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know everything else after that.
And then if the expenses for funding, stuff like that was higher in 2019, then we'd probably want to use those expenses. Plus, we've got a couple other increases.
So let me make sure that I'm looking at this right. I'm looking at revenue in 2021 of $969,000. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
For A&P.
Well, the top line's 993,240. And then
Where are you getting that from? Excuse
Yep.
me?
it's just a A&P commission, portion.
The second page of the law.
Yeah, that's where I,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not seeing that. Well, I don't know if we double count the, is there a portion on expenditures here that are the 2,000 per month? So.
where did you see
On
the
the one
number?
pager for the budget, is any of that 24,000 included in that 48? Does that make sense?
what 24 are you talking about, Jamie? I'm sorry.
2,000 per month?
The accounting?
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's in there or not, Jill. That would be a Jill question.
I was just saying, the top line number that the commission got was 993,240. And then, so if you want to do, should that be the top line number here, and then all of the other expenses? I didn't want to book that expense twice on the budget.
Where are you seeing the 993?
Yeah, me too.
It's the A&P commission portion, if you add up.
Add all that
Total.
up?
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
The
minus
2,000 is half of accounting and the 2,000 comes from the
24.
city side, but it's all included in the accounting expenditures on the budget because the check's written from the A&P commission.
Say that first
That
part
would
one
be,
more
that
time.
would be correct. If you took that 24,000 out, that would be the 969 number.
And what were you saying? You said 2,000 was from the city. Would say that one more time?
Our accounting fees are split between half taken out of the money that goes to the city and half taken out of the money that goes to A&P commission. A&P commission is the one that writes the check for it.
So that money gets pulled from the city's money before they get their check. And their check is, like this last check was what, 360,000? So that money gets pulled before they get their check. Gotcha.
Why is it half and not all? Just out of
I'm
curiosity.
not sure. I'm not sure why these specific line items are the only ones that are on here. Why the contract with the chamber and ours both are not. I don't know. I didn't write the rules.
I think, I was talking about this the other day with.
Maybe because it is split.
Fayetteville, and really, I think what happened is the city attorney and all that stuff, we're not paying any money in to cover that. So it's kind of, at some point, and Andy's probably been around long enough, at some point it's probably just a wash. They're like, well, we're gonna take care of our city end of it, and then y'all will take care of the marketing promotion contract. I would assume that's what happened, and then splitting the accounting fees in half. Even though, I mean, obviously, as a commission, we're not, definitely not, the city's definitely getting more than half. Andy, you know anything about that?
I'm sorry, I was over here doing some cogitating. What was it you said?
Y'all determine how the money gets spent. And my only question was, if this expenditure should be then should that expenditure be the 48 or should it be the 24?
Well, what I was saying, I don't think, that, there's 2,000, Andy, that the city pays for
Yeah.
before their, money, before they receive their money, it comes out of their portion of the money. And what I was saying, was that decided, like, did the commission decide that at some point? Because they're kind of curious as to why.
I don't remember.
Is that in the
Yeah.
bylaw?
Is that in the bylaws of
I
how
do-
it was set
I
up?
would say that it probably is, although I do not remember that.
Gotcha. And then he's just saying, like, talking about just throwing it back in there, working from the 969.
I'm going to assume that that's what we did, is we said, y'all pay half of those expenses and we pay the other half of those expenses. So that's what I would say.
Gotcha, yeah, and then. For budgeting purposes, we're actually,
Well, I guess if they're withholding 2,000 from themselves, it's falling through to this top line number?
I would say yes.
So then it would make sense then to pull another 2,000 from that. But still, it's just determining what that top line number is as it relates to this budget here.
474.
Well, I think you add back 45,000 to the top line. That puts you back over $1 million. Top line, and then you're double dipping somewhere.
Whether do you add the 24?
yeah, I think you would just add in the 24, since we have it on our accounting side.
And you're also just guessing what revenue is gonna be next year, so just pick
Right.
a number.
Pick a number.
Yeah,
Pick that 969 number. Just keep it clean.
yeah,
That's easy to point to. Sound fair? Start with?
Yeah.
Mike, that makes sense?
all right.
So
So,
take out the accounting out of there?
Yes. Yeah, balances for the most part, not that big a deal. And then we want to discuss the budget next month.
yeah,
Rewrite it
we right,
with our chairman and make sure everybody's on the same page.
that sounds feasible.
Well, and on that one pager, what y'all adopted last month is 206,820 for the chamber contract.
For the chamber,
Yes,
206,820.
yeah.
Write that down.
And 30 of that is, the production account.
Okay.
Yeah, Travis mentioned, I asked if we would discuss it today, and then I guess if we wanted to table it and decide next week, but it'd be easier to have it ready for the budget.
Did we set aside a certain amount for special projects last time?
300,000?
I see that's what we did in 21, but I didn't know whether we were doing the same number or whether we
19, it
had
might have been
discussed that.
higher.
Have a special project?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking.
I think that was for the signs, the hopefulness that the signs are gonna happen, maybe? Maybe? Maybe?
That could be it.
Yes, that was the amount that you all had pledged
For the, yeah,
for that.
yeah, so, we're still hoping for those signs, so we'll keep that.
All-Star games are back in play? All-Star games are back in play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back one.
Should we add
Do
a,
we have a number that we're in for that one?
45
For-
again for
So
this year
that is correct in this number that we've got? Okay,
of your
Contract.
Contract.
okay.
I think we wanna talk to them about, so, you know, do what?
Yeah, go to the mic, Jamie. I got questions. Mine and your voice, we don't need a mic.
Yeah.
I feel like we got a
I
gift.
wanna talk to them to make sure that, you know, what does the future look like for fast we're compared to, the big driver. For visits there is,
the continuing ed and the clinics that happen all week. It's not, spectators. And so, I think a lot's changed with regard to, Zoom and continuing ed and all those things. So we need to just make sure that what the future arrangement looks like is something that looks like a lot of during the week hotel stays, like it did in the past.
I'll say, they also changed their schedule a couple years ago, so it's not the same 5 weekdays that it was when we first started, so.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth re-looking at in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Wade, Jean, do we have any other special projects y'all are thinking of or looking into that we would want to budget for?
I think,
The city has taken some action on wayfinding, and I think, we can probably get a little further down the path, to see how that's coming. They want to do some of that in-house. With regard to special projects, I think we probably start to dust off. I get nervous talking about where we can pick up when things were normal. But, we did have kind of a strategic retreat right ahead of everything falling apart. That was either 3 or 17 years ago, I don't know. And so, no, we had a slate of things that we all kind of talked about together, and it's time to revisit. And, if the wayfinding is being handled by the city in-house, then that frees up resources to look at other things that we talked about strategically. And, but again, a budget item for special projects, when you have a balance, the way that y'all do is kind of, tomato. But so, no, I can't tell you that there's a $300,000 project or invoice coming.
The other question is the cool stuff y'all are doing with the college students. Would we need to, since it's probably going to be ongoing, if it does well, would we need to kind of put it on its own line and have it budgeted in?
Yeah, I think the way that's going to play out is it's just going to feel a little more like an advertising expense. It is going to be more advertising. This year was probably more, our expenses will be higher on the onboarding, training, and startup. But I do think in future years, we won't try to manage as many people. We got some content out there towards the end of the year, now that we were gonna meet with some kids initially, but UCA's pushed back in person another week, so that's off a little bit. So I would not expect us, one, we won't spend as much money as we had originally asked for, and I don't think that we would envision asking for anything like that again. So I think, if anything, it's gonna land in the advertising budget. That might need to grow some, but marginally. We're still trying to figure out, exactly what execution on that looks like. And so's everybody else.
If you need experience on how to manage college students,
I'll tell you one thing that works pretty well is, well, hey, as soon as it's done and invoiced, then you can have your money. And that works. Maybe y'all should try that with your people.
Maybe that's a good.
And also, communicating with them through text.
Yes.
It's far better than emails.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Email is definitely not there.
Rachel, off the top of your head, do you remember how much we had allocated for projects this year? Just a ballpark number?
What type of projects?
All of the projects that you look at every
All of the
year?
funding grants.
Yes.
So typically it's around 150,000. In some years I can't think of any year that it's ever been more than that.
I was just looking at this number, it says 125, and I didn't know whether that was.
I think
close
that's probably based on the exact amount that was
allocated.
approved for 2021.
Okay, thank you.
So. But I will add, you'll know that other stuff always comes in throughout the year, so having a little wiggle room on that line item is helpful to keep it clean. It's not that the money's not there, it's just how y'all want to look at that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Andy, what else you got?
I don't know. I think I'm okay right now.
So Travis said, oh, go ahead.
I might like to call a meeting, a working meeting, not one of these type meetings, but a working meeting to go over who's responsible for what. So we know who's responsible for everything, and to make sure that we've got people in the right place and paying people for doing the things that we're asking for folks to do. Would y'all be okay with that? And I'd like to do it, if y'all are okay with that, I'd like to do it before the next scheduled meeting is kind of a working retreat, if that would be okay. I don't have a date in mind, so.
Be glad to host.
As long as your bartenders are there, no, just kidding.
Put a line out.
No, I think that's a great idea, because I think there's been stuff that we thought that the city attorney was handling, and then Jill's handling, so we've got a lot of different things.
If y'all would like to do that in one of our meeting spaces, we'd still be happy to let Jeremy cater it.
I'd be glad to come.
I didn't know some of that. I know I'm kind of one of the rookies here, and it would be very helpful for me.
Y'all got your calendars with you?
Yeah.
Since we have so many people not here, if y'all can talk about dates or whatever, but I'll be happy to send out an email and kind of offer up some tentative dates if y'all want to tell me.
I would say let's try for a Monday, 2:30. I think we all
Okay.
have been able to get that figured out. And it's our
Does that
slower
work
days.
for the other
so.
commissioner? Jeremy, does that work for you?
Yeah. It's he probably wants some business in there on the.
I don't.
Do you-
Well, I'll send out an email this afternoon.
Preach. True. I eat off the kids' menu. Is that okay?
I'll send out an email this afternoon and see if we can't get that scheduled
Thank you very much.
for y'all to have a
Appreciate
retreat.
That sounds good. And then I'll say we'll just table stuff from the email, because I think once we have that working meeting, we'll have a better idea.
We will.
And,
Good idea.
and you mentioned doing a proposal. I think if you want to do that for accounting, I would say go ahead and, if you want to email that to Travis, and then we can have it at that working meeting and discuss it. I think that'd be good. Yes, sir.
Do we have any openings on the commission coming up this year? or
I
not?
think it's me.
It is.
Yeah. Young boot me out.
No? Not at all?
Yeah.
Is this the tryout?
You're doing
Oh,
good.
look, guys, I'm not doing too hot.
Just didn't know.
We've been in here now. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think, am I the only one?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm the only.
This your first term? It's not?
I think it'll be my round.
It's your first time.
Yeah, this will be my round 2 if
Yeah.
I did it again. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I'm just getting my feet wet.
You just learned it.
I am. And then is there any old business that we need to go over? All right, can I call it? All right,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Everyone in favor, say aye. All right, meeting adjourned.